I've had health issues for years, excruciating pain generating from the lower back, around through the hip, and down through the leg. I was losing function of my left leg. Even laying down wouldn't give me any relief. It was just a constant, wouldn't go away pain. I am retired from the Army. I did 20 years and 20 days. My years in the Army were a bit reckless. I had some extremely dangerous jobs and kind of fell away for a number of years, which I think is not extraordinary under the conditions we were working. I really came to know Jesus when I was stationed down in the Canal Zone. And there was a warrant officer. He would walk from the chapel back to the officers' quarters with his Bible under his arm, and he always wore a shirt and a tie, and he was very churchy, what we would call him. And so one weekend, several of us lieutenants got together and we went to see the movie The Exorcist. Just curiosity, didn't know any better. And that movie touched me deeply. I came out of there and just thought all night about it. Gosh, if any of this is real, I'm in trouble. If there's a devil that's this bad, there's got to be a God that's that good. And so, walking home from the office one evening and past this warrant officer, he just asked me, "Hey, how you doing?" And I just laid it out for him. I just told him exactly what had happened. I said, "Went to this movie last night." I said, "That's really, really been disturbing me," and explained to him. And we were standing in the parking lot outside of the quarters. And so he said, "Well, come in with me." And so we got in. He said, "Sit down." I sat on one side of the table and he sat on the other. And he reached out his hands. He said, "Take my hands." I've never had this done before. And my first reaction was to kind of withdraw, not knowing where he was going with it. Holding hands with a guy, kind of creepy. He said, "Take my hands." And we prayed. Looking back, I know it now as a prayer of faith. I cried. I was embarrassed. All he did was smile. He gave me a hug. That was a life-changing moment. Pat Brittingham was his name. I wish I could hug him now. That's the moment. That's the moment in time. I gave my life to Christ. I didn't go to an altar call. I didn't go get on my knees in the front of the church. It just kind of snuck up on me. God can do that too. I had, for about 6 months, had experienced this pain and came to church one Sunday. Usually when you say, "Hey, how you doing?" you don't really expect an answer. That's more rhetorical, just greeting of the day. And I'm not one to complain, but I just had to stop and say, I'm not really doing well today. And I explained to you basically what was going on. And you said, "Well, let's just pray right now." And so we stopped right there at the end of the hallway in the lobby, of people passing all around us, going back and forth, getting ready for church. And you put your hands on my shoulders. And we prayed. And I'm a firm believer in that. I've been raised in churches that taught healing and believed healing, and I believe that. I believe it's possible. But you prayed for me, and there was no goosebumps, no flashes of light. I didn't take up my mat and walk, and I didn't go wash in the river. I thanked you, and we walked into the sanctuary and had church. It was Several days later, sometime during the night, God just reached down with his finger and he touched me. And I got up the next morning and started shuffling about the morning, and it just suddenly dawned on me, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, praise God. I hate to go into a doctor's appointment I've waited for months and tell him, I don't know why I'm here, this doesn't hurt anymore. But I explained to him what symptoms I had had, and he pulled up the x-rays and the CT scan, and he could see an issue that he could go in and repair as a permanent fix, and this would never recur. But when I told him I really wasn't hurting anymore, his eyes got big and he kind of grinned. And they can't espouse the Christian faith there in the office, but I think he understood something, a real miracle had happened. Don't underestimate God. Don't. He's a big God. And he put us together, and sometimes he fixes and sometimes he doesn't. We're all mortal, and you fall down and break your arm today, it's probably still gonna be broken tomorrow. But it doesn't mean that God can't work with you on it. And right now, I still have issues that you can look at on a screen and you can see the issues. But the miraculous thing about it is it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt anymore.